What is going on, fellow gamers? ChaosEclipse here. We are back on Citadel Forge with Fire. I took some precautions here to kind of speed up the process with these videos. So I actually have two axes. Both are equipped. I did do the smaller axes, and just a disclaimer, keep in mind we are level, what is that, 49 now. So I'm trying to do this with as bare minimum as possible so that we can get at least accurate results. But the overall thing is to just take a look at the axes, the melee weapons in general, and see the different spells that you can put on them with using the different essences. So first things first here, we are going to do just the arcane one on our first axe. So we're going to do Arcane Blast on our L2, and we're going to do Arcane Storm on our R2, which normally I have those reversed. Obviously you can do that however you want. The storm is like it does the damage over time, so I usually put damage over time on the left, and I'll do direct attacks like the Arcane Blast on the right, but that is completely up to you if you guys want to do that differently. And then we're going to go back here, and we're going to switch weapons. That's just turning him. How do you switch weapons? There we go, switch weapons. And then on here, we're going to do our haste, and we're going to do our arcane step. So now with this one, you can see this is our blast. That is the blast. This is the arcane storm. You guys have seen me use that one. They do have to be in this spot to be taking damage, so if it's something that hits you outside and then they push you again, you will need to cast it in the location. You can cast more than one at a time, so you can see that one's going there. You cast it again here. It does not take away this one. The only reason it happened the last time is because I literally cast it as it was going away. But if you can get cooldown reduction on this type of spell, you can cast it like back to back on top of the creature, and it'll just be doing that much damage over time. A rift did appear on the map. Let's take a look and see if we can find it real quick. I want to show you guys what that icon looks like. I've been trying to see one for the past couple of days. Oh, where's that? Where's that? There it is. So there is a rift. So it looks like a fireball with a face in it. At least that's how I see it. So that's the rift there. You can go there. Eventually it will spawn in a chest. Sometimes it will have you fight creatures. Sometimes it'll just spawn in the chest. So just keep that in mind. But you can actually get good loot from going to those. Just be careful because that is a high level area. And then if we hit our weapon here to go to the other one, still have an axe. We have our arcane step, which we talked about. This is R2. It shows where you casted it from, and it has like a little beam. Eventually it will pull you back to that spot. You can attack in this form while you're doing things, you know, and eventually, like I said, it pulls you back. And then we do have our haste, which that is the L2. That's the one that just makes you sprint very fast. So it's a good way to get around if you don't have a mount or a way to fly yet. I think even with this, if you cast it while you're flying, I think it actually makes you fly faster too. So let's test that out, because I didn't even think of that. So if we're running and we fly, okay, not bad, not bad. We'll see if you know what, we'll just keep flying and see if the haste helps. Feels about the same, not gonna lie. It literally feels the same, but you definitely run a lot faster. Hell, you might even run faster than you're flying, or at least might be the same. But anyway, let's take a look at the next one here. So next we're gonna have our light essence. So we're gonna add to spell. We're gonna do, whoops. We're gonna do condemn on our L2. Add to spell. And we're gonna do sanctuary on the R2. Then we're gonna switch weapons. Next one, we're going to atonement on the L2. And pacify on the R2. So it looks like for the most part, on the light essence, atonement and pacify have always been the same thing. So atonement, that's the one that heals you, looks like just like the wand one does. And then you can pacify things with R2. Once again, I'll cover this just real quick. If I'm trying to pacify this guy and trying to tame him, yes, you can tame orcs. You can see that tiny little blue that started filling up around his avatar there, the little picture he has. Once that fills all the way up, he will actually be under my command. He basically becomes a companion or a tame, however you want to look at it. You do have to feed your companions and everything over time, but basically he would end up being mine until I release him or until he dies. So definitely something you guys might want to take a look at least in the future or something like that, if you're looking at trying to get help with other tames and things, or just with killing stuff in general. And then if we go to the next one, we have this one, which was the Condemn, if I remember correctly. The Condemn over time, or not over time, basically it casts on them for 10 seconds. It does damage too, but it's cast on them for 10 seconds. Any damage you do during that 10 seconds, you get 10% of that damage turned into health, and it's given back to you once that Condemn expires. And then we have this one, which is a healing aura, if I'm not mistaken. I don't remember what it was called. Arcane Storm. No, this one is actually... Wait. Oh, it's because I'm still on the arcane thing. Sanctuary. So an aura surrounds you, healing your allies. So yeah. So this one is not a bad healing one. You have to be right up next to them, basically. They do have to kind of be in your circle here. But as you can see, we are damaged right now. It's not healing us. It only heals your allies. It does not heal you. But this is one of the better ones because it does not drain your stamina fast. So this is one of the good ones that I would suggest using. You just have to be right on top of your friends when you're actually healing them. And like I said before, I think it works on your tames and stuff as well. So. Alright, and then we can go over to our Dark Essence here. If you're wondering how I switch the weapons, even on this screen, if you just hit square, it does switch the weapon for you. So, but if we take a look at our Dark Essence here, we'll put this one in our L2, which that is the Vortex, and then the other one is going to be Calamity. Calamity, I think, is actually a decent one. Still not one I would use, just because it's a Dark Essence, which, if you guys did not watch the previous videos, I sound like... If you did watch them, I sound like I'm repeating myself, but if you didn't watch them, one of the big things, the reason why I don't like using these spells is because it uses health to cast these. It does not take mana, it uses your health. Alright, so it looks like we have the Stealth and the Sacrifice again, and then on the other weapon we have our Vortex and our Calamity. So the Vortex, this one is the one that just does damage over time. It's kind of like the Arcane Beam, but you do need an enemy, so we would have to get kind of close to him, like so. And you can see here it is... Oh, no, this one actually pulls them to you, but it does damage while it does it. I forgot about that. I'm sorry. I was thinking about Petrify. So it pulls them within melee range, basically. And then you have your Calamity, which this one is actually pretty good. You do have to hold it, though. But check out how strong that is, guys. Like, that killed him pretty quick. But holding it still is draining your health the entire time. But basically, look at that. I mean, it just... Like I said before, I know what a lot of people do. Thought I heard a bear. What a lot of people will do, though, is anyone who's using the Dark Arts, they will use Calamity, which is amazing. But they will pump all of their points into health so that they can actually use it without needing to worry about actually killing themselves. So, oh, and then we didn't try the other one. So, Sacrifice, this one, once again, you're not really going to be able to see what it does, but I can at least explain it to you. So, Sacrifice, the L2 button, it's basically we're sacrificing health, and we're giving ourselves mana right now. We are maxed out on mana, though, that's why you don't really notice it. It does last for however long you hold it, but you can kill yourself with that, be careful. And then we also do have our Stealth here, R2. This one, like I talked about before, it's a bit glitchy, so it works pretty decent, but if they already have aggro on you, then they're going to know exactly where you're at. It will work the entire time until you attack or until it wears off, which is actually a good 3 to 5 minutes or something like that. So, That's pretty cool. And then that's the reason why I made 2 weapons here. So I would actually have to wait for that cooldown to actually stop. But since I have this other weapon, which is still an axe, we can continue with this. So we'll do the fire next. So let's see here. So we can do this one, add to spell. We will do fire blast. And another fire one, add to spell. Fire grenade. There we go. And then the fire blast, I believe, is a blast all the way around us, kind of like the arcane blast. It's not. This is the punch one. This is the fire punch, which is dumb. This is why we're testing them now, because I didn't know that. You know, I've done it with other weapons, and I've probably said the same thing. And then you have your fire grenade. This one, I think, is a short arc. But it does land and kind of roll, yeah, and then it will explode on impact. So it does do damage to enemies around them as well. Perfect. Let me just grab all this loot real quick. Oh, there's actually a chest in there. Is there more enemies? Let's go ahead and grab this. Come on. There we go. And then keep in mind, one of the things that I've talked about before, guys, with the magic find, it does help you when you're looting chests and stuff as well. So if you guys are trying to loot chests and you come across the chest, make sure that that you have as much magic find as you have on you. So if you're carrying around like 2 sets of armor for whatever reason, you're like a min-max type person, make sure that everything that you have on you has magic find percent stuff on it, so that you can actually get better items out of chests as well. And we just killed everything in that cave, so that's not really a problem, but it's not really a good thing. And then we can go to our storm one here. So, no, wait, we still need to do the other ones with the fire. So let's go back to fire. We're gonna do the other side real quick, which is our Phoenix Rising and our Bloodlust again. You guys have seen these if you watch the previous ones, but we will do them once again for you guys. Said I was going to do it on every weapon, and that's what we're going to do. So Bloodlust, it does, what was it, 30% more damage, and then it also gives you 40% more health. It is just a buff that lasts for 3 minutes, so we hit L2, that is the buff there. It does just look like you're on fire, but it definitely helps out with the damage and everything. And then the other one, the Phoenix Rising, that is our R2. It changes the way the entire screen looks. It only lasts 15 seconds. But what it does is if you die during that time frame, so if you guys know you're going to die within 15 seconds, you're fighting a boss, you're fighting another player, whatever the case is, cast your Phoenix Rising like so. Your screen will look like this. It'll be blood raining from the sky. No blood raining from the sky. Whatever. But during these 15 seconds, if you die, any of the items that you drop will not be able to be picked up or messed with by players or creatures. So you don't have to worry about losing your stuff if that happens. But that does have to be active while, like, as you're dying. And then we can come back in here, switch weapons. We can come back in here. We can go to our storm. Wasn't in the right spot. We can go to our storm, add to spell. We can do our lightning strike on L2. Add to spell. And then do our concentrated storm on R2. So we have our lightning strike, which this one, like I said, they do have to be in the circle, which I'm not going to be able to catch them like this, unless it comes back this way, but no. Yeah, so basically you want, say that rock is a creature, you want them in the middle of the circle, you release it, and it does do a lightning strike on them. It's actually pretty powerful in the higher levels, so it is something you guys want to pick up or at least use. And then we also have the storm here, which this is the, what's it called again? concentrated storm. So this one actually works really well. I like to use this one, and then the arcane spell that does the same thing, damage over time in one area. And then there's also a frozen one that I will eventually show you guys. I don't know if it's on the melee weapons or on the stabs. But I use all three of those if I can. If it's something like a boss or something that's going to be in front of me, and then I just have to worry about keeping myself alive while there's damage over time by staying in this. You can also cast this one multiple times if you have the cooldown high enough in order to do more damage over time in the area. And then while those are going, you can also cast your lightning strike here to get in the action damage as well, which is how I like to play. A little bit different with PvP, but it definitely works still. And then we have our other two for storm. We go here. We have our shock armor, which you guys know this one. And you're also going to know the next one because it's going to be our blink. So our shock armor is this one here. This one, once again, what it does is it reduces your damage, but it also reflects 25% of the damage, incoming damage, back to the caster. And then, while that's happening, you can keep attacking or doing whatever you need to. And then we also have the blink, which the blink is, it shows this orb here. If you look below the orb on the ground, you can see kind of like a glowing spot there. It just tells you like how far it's going to be. If you do it up in the air, you can't really tell how far away that is. I mean, you kind of can if you've played long enough, but for the most part, if you're having trouble figuring out how far it is, put it towards the ground. You can see the little blue under it. Basically what that's going to do is it's going to teleport you to that location. So even if you do it up in the air, you will teleport in the air and then drop to the ground. So be careful with that. You don't want to do it straight up and fall and end up killing yourself. But if you can fly like so, you can definitely still cast it while you're flying. It is a good way to get around, and it definitely comes in handy with PvP and stuff. We can go to our nature one here, which need to make sure I'm on the right screen. Come up here. We have our pounce. And then we have our geyser. You guys have not seen geyser yet. Switch that so that I can also show you guys the bark skin, which you guys have seen. And then I will show you guys the extract, which you guys have also seen. And I know that, oh, is that one not done yet? Wow. Okay, I thought it was. Okay, whatever, that's fine. So this one here is the pounce. We talked about this one in the past if you guys watched previous videos. And that's what I mean by, if you guys have already seen it, it's because I did show it off in previous videos. But like I said, we are going to go through every spell. So if there's a creature in front of me, say this rock is a creature, if I do my pounce, that would have killed it because I would actually teleport through it while doing an attack, and it does do quite a bit of damage. It is a good way that if you're fighting something, say I'm fighting this blade of grass right here, I'm attacking it and it goes to run. If it runs in a straight line or whatever direction it runs in, say it runs off to the right, if it's running that way, I can kind of hit it one more time, and usually that'll kill it, because if they're running, that means they're close to being dead anyway. And then we have our geyser here. This one works kind of like the lightning strike, except it will shoot them up in the air. It's basically just a geyser that does that, and if they're standing on it, it will keep doing it multiple times, but it will slowly throw them back too. So if they have blink or anything, they can get out of it. It doesn't always keep doing it multiple times, but I have seen it used before. It definitely works. So keep it in mind. You can also use this to kind of corner someone. So if they're in a corner and you cast it kind of in front of them but also under their feet, it will keep them in that corner and you'll just be doing damage over time. And then if we take a look here at the other one, we have our bark skin that we already talked about, and then we can add in our other one now because the cooldown on that is up. Let's add that in. This is our extract, which you guys already know, like I said. So basically, if you're trying to collect items like this big rune crystal here, and you have your extract spell, you just hold R2 or wherever your extract spell is, and it will extract items over time, also giving you XP over time. And you can go a decent distance, but not too far. Let's see how far we can go. So that is actually pretty far. That's a lot further than I remember. But you can actually increase the range as well. You would just have to put in the leaves, things like that. So, which, like I said before, I will end up doing a video on all that stuff, just because I do think that it'll help out in the long run with you guys understanding like how the range, how the spell energy, the damage, the leech damage, all that stuff works. So, we'll figure that out. Then we have our frozen one here. So, once again, we need to go to the right screen. We have our Ice Strike. We have our Blizzard, which this is the other one that I was talking about, which is absolutely amazing. Then we switch to our other weapon. We have our Ice Shield. And we have our what is it, Frozen Breath. And I can actually show you guys this one this time because I am by the water. So, Ice Shield, L2. This one is it just stops projectiles from hitting you. Supposedly it stops piercing and everything else, basically anything at all that gets shot at you. And then we have our Frozen Breath, which is R2. You'll see a buff pop up on the bottom left down there. Look like just blue looking lungs. Hit that button. All it does is it makes it so that you can breathe underwater. You're not technically breathing, you just have frozen lungs, whatever. It's just helping you hold your breath. The problem with this spell is there's nothing underwater ever, and you can't recast it while you're swimming, so it doesn't do anything for you. I said this every single time we use this one. I think it's just an untapped thing that they need to come back to and kind of revisit. But it literally does nothing other than that. I don't know what other area you would need to hold your breath in. And then with these two, let me see what these were called again, because these are both new to you guys, even if you've watched previous ones. We have Ice Strike, and we have Blizzard. Blizzard is one of my favorites. This one does a really big area for kind of like the damage over time thing. You can see there. This one will also slow down enemies that are in it. So if you have fast enemies, if they're trying to move around and stuff, you can cast this, and then you can cast something like the Arcane Storm or something over top them. You'll be basically doing frozen damage and arcane damage at the same time, and then also they won't be able to get out of it as fast because they'll be moving extra slow. And it does look like when I cast it that it grows the longer you hold it down. That's actually kind of interesting there. So if I just tap it, yeah, because that one's definitely smaller. Okay, and then we have our Ice Strike here, which is this one. Just see. Okay, so this one is just the Ice Punch. I was thinking this would be the Ice Bolt, but that's probably exactly what it's called. So that's the Ice one, not bad. And then we have our last one here. So we will do our Summoning one. Add to spell. Summon Mount. Add to spell. Turret, which that one's a good one. I like that one. And then switch weapons. Add to spell. Summon followers. Add to spell. Summon party. Okay. So summon followers, summon party, these are the same basically. A little bit different. Summon followers is this one. As you can see, it doesn't look like it does anything, but that is because I don't have any tames or anything. If I had a tame, it would automatically summon them to this location. And then we have our R2, which is summon party. We're also not in a party, but it looks like that as well. If I was in a party with friends or anything like that, it would automatically summon me to them. Now, you can't just troll your friends and summon them randomly. They do have to accept it when you do it. But they have to do it almost, wouldn't say immediately, but you have to make sure that they're ready, because that cooldown on that is a super long time, and if they miss it, you're just not gonna be able to do it again for like a good 5-10 minutes or something. So if they miss it, you may as well just have them run to you or you run to them. Hopefully it's not something you guys needed right then and there when they missed it. I mean, if they miss it, that's on them, and they're probably bad friends anyway. That's sarcasm, guys. Don't think your friends are bad if they miss it. And then we have this one here, which is summoning the mount. So it looks like it summons a unicorn every time for me. I do think it's dependent upon your level as to what it's going to summon for you guys. But obviously it's giving me the mount every time, or the unicorn every time. We're going to go ahead and dismiss it. There it goes, running off in the distance. Last time he just stood there. And then we have the turret. The turret's actually pretty cool. So when you throw it out, wherever it lands, it will automatically shoot at things that are in the area. So let's see if we can find an enemy real quick, because this is the last spell for this anyway. There's probably some of these guys over here that came back. Oh, you know what? There's fairies over here, sprites. And as you can see, it says it just died, so they don't stick around forever. Here's the sprites. So you can cast it. It kind of does go at an arc. You can't really see where it's at, but you can see the shadow there for the most part. Look at that. One shot killed it. One shot killed it. You're going to get the third one? Is there not a third one? Huh, normally there's 3 here. Okay, whatever. And then, like I said, over time, it will eventually just kind of kill itself. They don't stay around very long. But you can cast multiple ones. So we can cast that one. Wait for the cooldown real quick. Which, not real quick, but decently fast. Cast another one. We got 2 turrets going, and that one's going to die right after. You won't be able to get 3 out there unless you have really high cool damage. Or cool reduction. Cooldown reduction. Oh, you can. Oh, I was gonna say, oh, you can get 3, but they proved me wrong. All right, but that's gonna be it for this one, guys. That was the axes. I don't think I missed anything. That felt really short, but hopefully I did cover everything there. So if you guys have any questions, comments, concerns, put it down in the comment section. Thank you guys for joining me today, and I will see you guys in the next video.